We welcome back our Web3 Unpacked new and loyal viewers and listeners. Today we have a topic that has been coming up quite a bit lately, and it's the question of what determines the price of Bitcoin. Our founder, Rich Pasqua, finds himself answering this question often, and he absolutely loves sharing his point of view whenever he can. Here are a few of his thoughts to help get your Bitcoin brain moving.
It is a really fascinating question, and one that I think a lot of people kind of hits at the heart of how Bitcoin operates within the larger financial ecosystem. You can't talk about Bitcoin's price without understanding the fundamentals of supply and demand.
Right. It's like Econ 101, like more demand, limited supply, price goes up.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin isn't your typical commodity.
Exactly. The human element, the investor sentiment, adds a whole other layer to that, of complexity to it.
Yeah.
Fear and greed can really drive the market in unpredictable ways, leading to those wild price swings that we see.
It's like a financial roller coaster, that's for sure. But beyond emotions, there's some interesting built-in mechanics that can really kind of influence Bitcoin's price. Take the blocked reward halving, for example, every 4 years. The reward that miners receive for adding new blocks to the blockchain gets cut in half.
Yeah, and that's significant because it directly impacts the rate at which new Bitcoin enters circulation. By slowing down the creation of new Bitcoin, the halving event is designed to create scarcity, which theoretically should drive up the price.
It makes sense. Fewer Bitcoins to go around.
Yeah.
Higher value for the existing ones. And it's fascinating that this scarcity is programmed right into the code.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears a little bit and consider the external forces at play. Global events, from economic downturns to geopolitical uncertainty, can all have an impact on how investors view Bitcoin and consequently its price.
We've seen this play out in real time. Remember when the stock market took a tumble a few years back? Bitcoin was affected too. And it shows you how interconnected these systems are.
Absolutely. And this is where the concept of Bitcoin as a safe haven asset comes into the picture. Some investors believe that in times of turmoil, Bitcoin, with its decentralized nature, could offer a hedge against traditional systems.
But is that a guarantee? I mean, some argue that Bitcoin's volatility makes it a risky bet, even during uncertain times.
That's a very valid point. It's certainly a debate worth having. But let's delve into some of Rich's thoughts here about the future of Bitcoin and what factors might shape its price going forward. He's particularly interested in the idea of global adoption, especially the possibility of countries adding Bitcoin to their reserves.
Yeah, he's mentioned the U.S. Exploring this is a huge deal. If they decide to go all in, it could trigger a domino effect with other nations following suit. I mean, we could be talking about trillions of dollars flowing into Bitcoin.
It's a scenario that could radically alter the financial landscape as we know it. And it's not just governments. Companies are getting involved too. Look at MicroStrategy, for instance. They've been adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, essentially betting on its long-term value.
And the logic there is that Bitcoin, with its limited supply, could act as a hedge against inflation, kind of like a digital version of gold.
Exactly. It's a strategy that more and more companies might adopt in the future, especially if inflation continues to be a concern.
Then there's the rise of Bitcoin ETFs.
Yeah.
With major players like BlackRock and Fidelity offering these products. Investing in Bitcoin has become a lot easier for the average person. That increased accessibility could have a significant impact on price.
For sure. And we can't forget about the potential for an Ethereum ETF in 2025. That could further fuel interest in the crypto space as a whole and indirectly impact Bitcoin.
Like a rising tide lifts all boats type of thing.
In a way, yes. And finally, there's the legislative landscape. More crypto-friendly regulations could pave the way for new financial products and services, potentially attracting even more investors and driving adoption.
So taking all of this into account, the program's scarcity, the global events, the growing institutional interest, the potential for ETFs, and evolving regulations, it paints a pretty complex picture.
It absolutely does. Bitcoin's price is a result of a complex interplay of all these factors. And while predicting the future is impossible, it's safe to say that Bitcoin's journey will continue to be a fascinating one to watch.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this question. What's your take on the future of Bitcoin's price? Given everything we've discussed, where do you think it's headed? Food for thought. And to learn more about MVMT.MEDIA, head to our website. You can find information on all the services we offer, from Web 2 and Web 3 strategy to design and content marketing. We'd love to hear from you, so reach out and let's connect. Until next time, happy exploring the world of Web 3